In this tutorial, I'm going to walk you through how to make this super awesome robot, roar, roar, perfect kind of game character or asset. It gives you a lot of skills with understanding how to make slick and easy material or even middle material and hard surface modeling, as well as aspects of how to use inset and extrude in the best manner. Examples of where and when to use mirroring. This is a great intro to all sorts of stuff with Blender. So if you're new and you're interested in making game assets, or you're just liking messing around in Blender, this is for you. So without further ado, I'll stop talking and let you learn how to make this awesome handy robot, who I think I'm going to name Hank. He looks like one. This is Blender. I'm going to walk through creating a fun, cute robot today. Let's go ahead and get started. General it is. I like to hide my light and my camera just so I don't get distracted. And we can actually use this cube. So what I'm going to do to the scale of it though is for Z, we're going to go with a 3. And then for X and Y, it's actually going to be a 2. Okay? And this looks like a ginormous block, so what am I going to do with it? Well, we're headed over to modifiers. I'm going to add a modifier, and what that's going to be is a subdivision surface modifier. You might have used this before for smoothing things out. Well, we're going to also use this for smoothing things out to make a egg-shaped body panel. So great so far, okay? And what we're going to want to do with this now is, well, a few things. I'm going to go ahead and click on it, and we're going to head into edit mode. The top of it is going to be where the actual head of our robot is, obviously. So let's go ahead and do some loop cuts. I'm going to click here, and I'm actually going to go way down here and just say 2, right? So we have a body segment kind of mapped out and an upper segment. Let me go back to select and face select. I'm going to click up here, and what I'm going to do is shrink this down. 0.6 is actually what I was going for. So all the way down, 0.6 is gonna be perfect. Okay. And then I was gonna have him come out a bit at the arms. So let me do edge and select. I'm gonna click this edge, but I want all of these edges. Something really cool you can do is select loops, edge loop, and now I got all of it. Okay. And what I'm going to do is move this down slightly, maybe negative 0.2, but then I'm actually going to scale it out. So just pull right here a bit, and I want it to be 1.03. Again, not much, but just enough to give the body a bit of a bump where we're going to place the arms. Awesome. So this is looking perfect so far. Now we're going to go ahead and add what will be, well, the head of our alien. So let's go back into object mode actually. And that is, oh, that's looking good. So in object mode, we're going to do add mesh UV sphere. Okay. And with that added, I'm going to go ahead and click move, yank. And so where mine's now located, let's just call it, let's put it at 5 actually. Okay, and then scale-wise, what I'm going to want for this is a 2, and then a 2, and we're actually going to leave this at 1. If anything, let's see what we got here. If anything, let's do 0.8. I'm liking this. Maybe even a 0.7. 0.8 it is. All right, there we are. And now what else are we going to need to construct the head? Well, we're actually going to go ahead now and do add mesh cylinder. And I'm going to go ahead and move this out over here. There we are. Okay. And so where it's located for me is, I guess, -5, just so I can see it. And I want to change the shape. We're actually going to scrunch it down to maybe a 0.2 for Z. That's looking good. And then I'm going to want this, the Y to be 1.6 and the X to be a 1.6. Okay. Now with that at 1.6, let me go ahead and move over to this so I can see it. Boop. And zoom in on it. Boop. All right. So we need to create a gear shape out of this. We are headed then into edit mode. In edit mode, make sure you're in edge select mode. All right, and I want to be in X-ray. Now that I'm in X-ray, I'm going to go to select, and I'm getting all of these edges. If you're in X-ray, you'll have all of them like me. All right, and now what I'm going to do is do edge, bevel edge, and I'm going to pull till it's roughly even, and what I'm going to want is 0.045 is what I was liking. And yeah, that looks great. So now with that all selected, I'm going to get rid of X-ray mode so we can see I have all of this selected. I need to extrude region, but I'm going to click and hold. And if I click and hold extrude region, I want to extrude along normals. Okay. And just so I can see, and I'm going to click and zoop. And what do I want it at? Well, we actually want it at a negative 0.16, I was thinking. Was looking great. All right, now let's go ahead and go into object mode again. And I'm gonna zoom out. And we have the head to put together. First, we're gonna edit this though. So let's put this at, I don't know, -5. And then Z, let's put it at 3, just to kind of get it in the same spot. I'm gonna click on this, and zoom in. Move. We're going back into edit mode, and yep, let's go back into X-ray mode. Select. Okay, I'm gonna click off. We're in X-ray mode and we're on select. We need faces, and you need to get these little circles. That's what will select the actual face panels. So I'm just gonna grab all of these, and again, since I'm in X-ray mode, I'll have it all the way around, and then I'm gonna go mesh, delete, faces. Goodbye. And that's exactly what you want it to look like. Okay, now we need to make sure we have it covered up in here. So I need to go to vertex mode, and I still have my X-ray mode on. I'm going to select all of these, vertex, new edge, a new face from vertices, and then, oops, I want to select all of these, vertex, new edge from vertices. Oh, yeah, new edge or face from vertices. Let's go out of X-ray mode. And you can see there's now a face within that object mode. Okay. So that is all looking great. Now, what are we going to do with our friend, the gear looking thing here? Well, we have something in store. We're going to just zoop. Let me take a look. So it looks like we don't want it quite that big. We don't want it sticking out just that much yet. I'm going to place this at 3 on the X. Where's this guy? 3 on the X. And so we'd want that at -5 and -5. Perfect. I'm just going to change the scale of my gear. So instead of 1.6, let's do a 1.5 and a 1.5. Let me see how this is looking. That's pretty good. I actually might go with a 1.4 though. 1.4, 1.4. Yes. That is going to be more of what we are looking for. So awesome. Now that we have all that ready to rock, I'm going to start by... Nope, that's going to be the face. Let's go ahead and do an eye. So object, whoops, yep, add, mesh. We need a cylinder. And here's my cylinder. I should zoom out. I'm going to just pull it straight out. I'm going to click on X here. Okay, we have this straight up and down now. I'm going to go ahead and rotate it right here along the Y. All right, and really what I wanted to have happen there, it kind of went nuts. I just wanted the Y to be rotated 90. Should be good. Yep. And then this needs to be 0, and that's going to be 0 as well. Great. And then for scaling, let me see here. I think it was a, let's do a 0.5 on scaling. And that is looking perfect. And then on, let's just go ahead and move it over here, because it will be, well, the eye. So, whoop. something like that. So where do I want it? Well, I want it at probably negative 5.5. And then that's going to be 3. And this looks like it should be 1. All right, let's change up the scaling though, so we can tell already. I'm going to do 0.4, 0.4, 0.6 for x, and that means we need to move it forward some, over some, and we can kind of just finagle this till we get it right. And I do want this to be further back. And so therefore maybe over a bit. Yeah. Right about there. So let me just do even numbers. Negative 5.8. Great. And then 1.4. 1.42 is looking awesome. Great. So again, this will be our eye area. So what we're going to do now is go into edit mode on it. And let me do X and zoom. Okay. So to create an effective or a nice looking region for this eye, I'm going to go ahead and click right here. I'm in face select. And what I'll do is do face, inset. Just going to go shoop. Okay. And then we want, let me double check this. Yep, that should be good. And then I'm going to go ahead and do face extrude for my eye here. And I'm going to extrude it 0.05. So just a teeny little bit. Okay. And that is looking great. So we're going to have a few more steps on this. Let's head into object mode. And we're going to start making the arms. The nice thing about the arms is, well, we only need to make one of them and we can clone it. So, or duplicate. All right, let's click X. Let's move this over. Let's push this out. And then I'm going to go ahead and do add mesh. And what we're going to need for this is a cone. Right? And here's my cone. I'm going to place mine at negative 3 for now. And then I need to scale this down some. Okay, actually the length might be good. So let's go ahead and jump right into edit mode. And I'm going to use the face select, click, and then I'm going to scale down just the face. What I'm going to do here, yep, that's perfect. 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. And that's great. And then for the other part of this, we are going to need, well, the same thing. So object mode, I'm going to go ahead and do object, duplicate objects, and start moving it downward. How do I know where I want this one? Well, here's its X and Y. Okay? Here's the X and Y of this. So it looks like 0. But if I put this at 0, it's going to jump up, right? Now it's hidden behind it. So let's, I don't know, 2. So now it's above it. Let's do a negative 2. And then a 3. Negative 3. Okay, now we have to decide how much the arm's going to contain the other one. Let me just start messing with this. I'm going to pull it on up. So the goal with this is you're not going to be able to see the full cone. Let's have this one. Let's go ahead and actually, let's shrink this one. So we got a scale of 1, 1, 1. I'm going to do a scale of 0.8, 0.8, 0.8. Okay. And now with that, we're going into edit mode now. We want to do, yeah, it's not going to let us on this. So what we're going to want to do now is with this, let me go ahead. We have part of our arm. We need a socket for the top of it. So I'm going to go back into object mode actually. I'm going to do add mesh UV sphere. Whoop, right? And my UV sphere is now at, I guess, negative 3, which is where it should be. And let me go ahead and set this to 0.4, 0.4, and 0.4. And that's still too large actually, so 0.3 it is. That is looking good. And to make this more like a arm, I'm going to actually go back into edit mode on it. And whoops, no I'm not. I'm going to go ahead and mush down the Y value. So let's do a 0.5. Nope. 0.6 it is. That's looking nice. And then we're going to do something similar on this. Let's go ahead and mush it down to maybe a 0.8. Okay. And then we are going to put a pivot point down here as well. So I'm just going to do object, duplicate, and click. All right. And where do I want this? Well, I know I want it at -3. And then these, probably a -1, I said, and then 0. Let's see how that is looking. We're actually going to have it coming out of this top one a bit, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up something like this. -1.93. That's great. And then for hands, you guessed it, object, duplicate objects, pulling it all the way down here. And I'm going to go ahead and set us up -3, let's say -3. And for size on this, I'm actually going to go for, let's see, let's try 0.4, 0.4, and 0.5. Because it is a hand, okay, so 0.3. Nope. I went with 0.25 there. Yeah, that's looking great. And then -3.15. All right, so here's our robot's arm. Just take a look. That will work perfectly for our purposes. Okay. What I will do right quick is I'm in object mode. Take a look. And I'm gonna hold shift to select this as well, and I'm gonna go ahead and rotate these like so. Let's do -26. Nope. -26 sounds good. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pull them forward. I'll pull them forward 0.8. And then up 0.23. Let's take a look. A little bit back. All right, that should do it. So now we have one arm, which is great. I'm going to go ahead and select all of these objects and do shift. Nope, I can use this. I'm going to go object, duplicate objects, move it right over here. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and use a spawn. All right. So I'm going to undo that. Control Z. Let's do this. I'm going to start moving these guys around to get them on the body. Okay, so I've selected all of this, and yep, right now, I'm gonna just hide that. That's looking like a good placement, so let's call that 1, -2.3, and let's try -2. Okay. So what we're going to need to do, though, obviously, is have these connect to the body. Let's see how far we are. Oh, yeah, we're great. So to do that, I'm going to grab this guy and this guy, and I'm going to start rotating them in this direction. -32 sounds great. And let's shift them on over. So we want to rotate these back a bit to maybe negative 26. Oh, that didn't work for both. We're going to rotate these back again. More like this. Yeah, so I'm going to rotate them back 8. And place them about there. So let's see. My shoulder is starting at, let's say, negative 1.5. And the z value for it is 1.9. And then this is going to be negative 1.86. And the z value will be 1.16. And then the rest of this, I'm clicking Shift, Shift, Shift. It's just moving directly up 0.35. And a teeny bit over so it all fits. Something like that. Awesome. So our arm's looking great. So let's go ahead and select it all, click. I'm holding Shift here to do this, click, 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 click. And what I'm going to do is click on the Z and do Object, Set Origin, and set it to the 3D cursor. And the 3D cursor is right here. The reason I'm doing that is because now if I use my arm and I apply a mirror modifier to it, great, now we're ready for some color. Let's head back to object mode. In object mode, I'm going to be grabbing this guy and let's throw some color on him first. So I was thinking of a nice fancy candy apple red robot. So material 1 will be red. Whoops, I'm on caps lock. And then my base color, I like using hex because it's more precise. So I'm going to do FF0800. You do whatever you want, of course. And then for the metallic, I was actually going to go with a 0.1 and the roughness of 0.2 because I want it candy apple red. And maybe not a 0.2. That's looking like a lot. That is good. So that's going to be that. And then the side here, okay? So for this, I'm going to go ahead and do a red and a red there as well. Then our robot's joints colors, I'm going to click on one of my joints and do new. And I'm just going to call this joint, I guess. And base color. And again, I like doing hex, so I will be using the hex 0800 FF. And that's looking good. Let's go ahead and do 0.4 for roughness. And then again. And you know, I might have lied for this color. Maybe we should do more of a stainless steel shade. Oop, that might be too light. And then maybe more metallic. Yep, I'm liking that. Great. So we could even go a bit darker if we wanted. Okay, so now I need, well, the other arm. So I'm going to hit X over here, and I'm going to click on all of this. Shift, shift, shift. Shift. Whoa. Okay, and now that I have, what I'm going to do is do Object, Set Origin to 3D Cursor. Right, so excellent. Now the origin's right there where the 3D cursor is. And what that allows us to do is, object join though. And you only want to do this after you've colored it. So now that it's joined, object set origin to 3D cursor. Okay, now we need a modifier. Add a modifier, and our modifier is going to be mirrored, and it's going to be on the y-axis. Oops. We need to object, apply, location, rotation, and scale. And there we go, right where we need it to be. Now let's work on the head of our bot that I hit a little while ago. Okay, so here is the main area. And let's go ahead and move all this to 0. And then I want this maybe 3.25. And then I need this at 0. And then 3.25 is probably great. And then, so these were all, we're gonna have to adjust this again. That's looking great. So his new spot's gonna be 1.45, negative 0.58, and 3.2. Awesome. Let me click on this. I need to apply my material. What material? I am going to go with the red. And now for the inside gear here, I actually might go with the other color I was going to use. Whoops. So let's go ahead and do new and gear. And that color is hex 0800 FF. Perfect. And then for roughness, 0.4. I love that. And now this eye contraption, I'm going to color this part of it, and we are going to be mixing this up a bit, the joint color. I now need to go into edit mode, because, oops, we are going to now use the face select, and I need to get these faces. So I'm going to have to hold shift some and just go around, grab all these. Whoops, I got to click on that. I didn't want it. Let's see if I got them all. Yep, that looks good. And now I need a new color, and it's just going to kind of be a matte black for I1, I guess. Oh, maybe I didn't. I1. Ah, that's better. So I zeroed out specular. All right, great. Now that with that zeroed out, I am going to go ahead and, yeah, let's do that. I'm going to make all of this. Let's go into X-ray mode. You see the edge of the eye right here? I want that to also have this dark color. Awesome, awesome. And now right here, here's something cool. We're going to do a lighted eye. So I hit plus and new. I want to change this to an emission. And my emission, honestly, is going to be like 35. It's going to be kind of strong. And then I'm going to do 0800 FF, enter. And let's go ahead and assign that. And so that looks kind of cool, but it's actual light. It actually gives off a light. So I might even want to go a bit darker with this shade to make it more apparent. Cool. All right. I'm liking that. And then we have actually our robot. But so this is our floating, flying, magical robot of awesomeness. If I wanted to clone these legs, obviously I could. I could add a few little rockets to the bottom of them. Let's see, let me go into object mode again, click here, and go into edit. I can even still grab all those. So if I go to here, click on this, and do like we did before, select loops, edge loops, I might want to scale that in some. Something maybe like 0.85, 0.85, 0.85. And then I could use this, even 0.8, 0.8, 0.8 might be interesting, because then I could make his body into a rocket shape item. If I click here, I'm going to do face, inset, and now I can do face, extrude, and just go, okay? And you can see how he could even have a bit of a thrust at the bottom. If I would go back into edge mode and select this edge, this edge, this edge, and this edge. And I would do something like edge bevel. I'd start pulling just to give it more of a hard looking edge and maybe put that at a 5 or so. And then I would do the same for this edge. Select loop, edge loops, edge, bevel edge. And it gives it a really nice rocket look here. Maybe even 6. Okay. And then to accentuate that, I could again go back up here to this guy, select loops, edge loops, and I could push it in more to give it a thruster type of look. That's probably too much, so 0.96. Maybe something like this, and then you can even pull it up a bit. Or push it down a bit. Right there maybe, so I pushed it down negative 0.6. And now that it's down, it might be a better time to and give it that rocket look of a base. And with it like this, since I have it, I'm going to go ahead and go zoop. And let's make sure I get it all. Oh, I need face select. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit new. And actually, I'm just going to use the joint. And let's assign that color. And so now we have a rocket on the base. And if you want to give the rocket an interesting look, we could go down here. Boop, zoom out, selection, down here, and I could do something like, and that would just be the bottom, so you wouldn't see it in most animations, and it still has some silver on it. But there is a ton of stuff you can do with this type of an animation. So, if you're still watching, if this was helpful, I hope it was. You should first of all tell me about it. You should write below what cool things you made, brag about it a bit, and make sure to hit like, make sure to hit subscribe. It does give me warm fuzzies and solves the world's problems and yada 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 yada. I'm gonna go probably add fire to this. We'll see.